today. Barbara is the community liaison for MountainTop Strings, as well as the piano accompanist who has gone on many of the trips with MountainTop Strings. She's a crucial part of the team. And so welcome. Thanks for everything that you do, Barbara. And also I'd like to acknowledge Bob Perry. Bob is on the media team, and he and Sharon have collaborated to bring these amazing musical videos of MountainTop Strings to everyone. And wow, we have all just been enjoying the talents, and just such a gift. MountainTop Strings is such a gift to our community. So without further ado, we've really enjoyed the interviewees, Victoria and Rebecca's cameo appearances, but we want to hear more. So Sharon, can you step in and let us know a little bit more about who these lovely, lovely ladies are, and let us know a little bit more about them.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much. So let's see, we'll start with Rebecca. Rebecca is a sophomore in high school, and she's been in our program on violin since she was in 3rd grade. So you guys can do the math. I think she said about 8 years, and she's followed in the footsteps of her sister CJ, who is 4 years older than Rebecca. So have just done some beautiful work. They both study with Alex Russell at Azusa Pacific University. CJ's a sophomore. So just done some beautiful work, and Rebecca was our concert master on the last tour of 2019. And Victoria is also going to Azusa Pacific University. She's a freshman. Her freshman year cut short by this pandemic. So sorry, Tori. But anyway, they're doing lessons online. Also, she has studied with Alex for several years now, Alex Russell over at Azusa Pacific, and Tori took a lot of auditions all over the country last year and finally decided that Azusa was the place for her. Again, beautiful, beautiful player, has been in our program since 4th grade in North Shore Elementary School, and went to Carnegie Hall with us, has gone on 2 Italy tours with us, and we love you guys. So let's hit it.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. Well, I want to acknowledge and communicate to the audience that I have personally been a witness to just how hard each and every one of the MountainTop Strings players, how dedicated they are, and all the rehearsals and practices that they have gone to. And so, which segues into the question that I would like to ask the girls. You know, you have performed in so many venues, historical and, you know, also iconic village squares, and such amazing experiences. And so I want to ask both Victoria and Rebecca, what was it like performing with your fellow musician friends, you know, traveling with them? And what was, you know, what were your experiences? What were your feelings around it? You know, how did it make you feel? And what was your specific favorite venue that you have performed in the past? So Rebecca, if you can start first, and then Victoria, I'll have you follow up.
After working hard for so many hours, it was a surreal experience to travel to Italy and play in all those beautiful places. We rehearsed for so many hours that sometimes it just kind of felt like, oh, we're going to Italy, like we'll never get there, because it was so far away. But once you got there, it was just like, wow, we're actually doing this. Like, we're actually here and we're going to play in these places. My favorite place was the Pantheon, because it's the Pantheon. Like, not many people get the opportunity to play there. I felt personally so accomplished knowing that all of our hard work paid off, like all those hours that we spent, and we sounded beautiful over there. I just loved the Pantheon because it was so awe-inspiring to walk in there, and it was just like, wow, we're here in the Pantheon. Um, there was this hole in the ceiling that was like right above where we were playing, and it was so beautiful to just like look up and see the sky, and I was like, wow, like we're in Italy. And at one point during our concert, a bird actually flew in through that hole and started flying around, and it actually like almost pooped on some of our musicians, which was really funny. Um, it was really rewarding knowing that we were able to share our gift of music with another country, and that was the best part about our trip.
Awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. Victoria?
Like Rebecca, it kind of felt like a dream because we had so many rehearsals and outside practice time that we had to do. And it was such a long time off, so it didn't feel like a reality. And I mainly focused on getting to each rehearsal and doing the best I could because we had 5-hour rehearsals on Sundays. Sharon really drilled it all into us, which was really worth it because we focused on such specific detail. But I know without it, we wouldn't have gotten as good as we did. It didn't really feel real, I guess, until we were actually like sitting on the plane to get to Italy, or until we were in New York and we saw the tip of the Empire State Building, kind of really crazy. And finally getting to perform in all those amazing venues, it was just so incredible. And that felt like a dream in itself, even though that probably was because we are all half asleep because of the jet lag, but that's beside that point. I remember feeling so excited and accomplished. Like we did that. We were in all of our hard work was done and we were in these places. And I specifically remember our first performance in Rome. We were all completely exhausted because our flight had been delayed so long. But when we walked into our first venue, which was technically our second performance, but it was I think, how do you pronounce it, Sharon?
Okay, let's see. Chiesa di Sant'Agnese in Agone.
That, which is basically right on the Piazza Navone. We were all in awe. And like you guys saw, I think the first piece they played on the 2019 tour, that was in the same cathedral. And so the acoustics were just incredible. So it didn't even matter that half of us were falling asleep while playing because the acoustics just carried us. And it was just, and we all knew it so well because of all the rehearsals. It was just incredible. And we had got to play in that multiple times. So like I said, the hours were so worth it. And I'll never forget how happy we all were and how exciting it was. And yeah, it was just amazing.
That's great. Oh, so much fun. Yeah, when you go on those trips, I can imagine that you're running on adrenaline, right? You get your second wind and then your third wind, and you go from place to place. So yes, I've seen the energy that you all have been able to tap into when you're traveling, and you just create magic wherever you go. All right, so thank you for answering question number 1. And before we go to question number 2, I just wanted to say that before you go on your tours, your international tours, what's nice is that you are giving back to the local community because you actually get out there and you have performed for us locally. And I know on this video you were featured, at the Cave with the internationally renowned group String Fever. I've seen you play with them and also seen them play. And also at the top of Snow Summit Ski Resort, where everyone had to get on the chairlift and go up to the top, where you had these beautiful 360-degree views. And to watch you play there, it was just, oh my gosh. I mean, it just was like being, it was just, like I said, magical. It was absolutely magical to have all of that, as part of the experience. But I wanted to say that for question number 2, which pre-tour concert of the many eclectic concerts that you've performed in was your favorite? And then why? So briefly share your memories. And Tori, let's go ahead and start with you first this time.
Sure. Picking a favorite is really hard because we had so many. And honestly, like thinking back to all of the concerts we had, it was kind of really fun because I was like, wow, we really played a lot. And it felt really good to be able to show the community who supported us through it all how much we had learned together and how much we had just improved together. And actually the cave concerts were some of my favorites. I didn't get to play with String Fever, but we did play a couple other concerts there, and that was really fun. But I think one of my most favorite ones was one of our last concerts before the 2016 tour at the Discovery Center. Every time we played there, it was always super fun because it was all outdoors, and it was, yeah, that was just super cool. And it was so beautiful. And this one was even more exciting because all of our hard work was so close to being done. We only had a few days until we were set to leave for Italy. And yeah, so it was just kind of like a celebration. And I always got we always all together, I think, got huge surges of energy during our performances, which made it even more fun. And I remember being really excited when this one was over because we were leaving. It was done. And yeah, we were ready to go, and all of the concerts gave me a lot of experience and practice, and it taught us the endurance, which is good.
Great. Thank you, Victoria. Rebecca?
My favorite pre-tour concert was definitely the one at Snow Summit. When Sharon first told us about it, we were all kind of skeptical because we were like, taking your instruments up the ski lift is not a good idea, especially for me because I'm a klutz, and I was like, I'm going to drop my instrument. That is not okay. But in the end, it was really fun. I love taking the ski lift. Like, it was just so beautiful to see the view from up there. And then when we actually got to the building at the top, we got it, like, there was a big window, and we got to see the mountains while we played. And I think that was the best part about that concert. And the sun setting, like, during our pieces too, that was really cool. And it was also really nice to see like how many people came up to see us, because I was like, oh, I don't think a lot of people will show up. But it was so nice to see like how our community supported us, and that there was like, it was jam packed in there, and I just really liked that.
Awesome. Yes, it
Wow.
really was, wasn't it? So pretty. Did you want to make a comment or something, Sharon? Yeah.
Yeah, I just, Tori, thank you for reminding me about the Discovery Center concert. And I just wanted to mention Snow Summit was one of our last concerts too before we left. And that feeling of when your work is done, it's such a freeing feeling, because then it doesn't matter how, because the concerts are going to be great, because you can't go backwards. So just that feeling of having your work done is like, wow.
Yeah, like the reward. That's your reward for all the hard work. So
Anyway,
gratifying.
thanks,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thanks. Okay, so the last question, we're going to also, I wanted to make sure that the audience knows that, again, if you want to ask any questions of Sharon, Rebecca, or Victoria, be sure to drop those questions into the chat right now, because we'd like to spend some time acknowledging your questions, and so that you can come on and ask them personally your question. All right, so the last question that I'd like to ask of the girls is, how do you think that playing a string instrument and also studying under director and maestra Sharon Rizzo how has it impacted your life, and what have you learned from your experience? All right, Rebecca.
Because of the violin, I've had the privilege to travel to Italy twice and participate in many competitions with my orchestra, and I've had the opportunity to play with the piano guys as well. Without strings, I honestly don't know where I would be right now because it takes up so much of my time. I have learned so much more about my instrument, and I have become a better player under Sharon. Sharon has taught me so much and always pushed me to be a better player no matter what. I spend so much time in orchestra that they've become more like a family to me rather than friends, and Sharon has become my second mom. Um, I'm so thankful for all the opportunities that she has given me, and for always inspiring me to be the best violinist I can.
Ah, that's so sweet. Thank you for sharing. Victoria?
Yeah, so playing violin in this orchestra literally changed my life. Sharon, along with Barbara, introduced me to such a beautiful world, and all of the amazing opportunities we had. Like, I just wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else. And Sharon and Barbara constantly supported me along the way. And without them, I don't think I would have made up my mind to pursue music in college. And because of them, I want to share the world of music that I know with others around me. And I've learned so much, especially about working together as a team to produce something so beautiful. Like Becky said, like our orchestra, all the countless hours we spent together, there's no other way that like we would have been a family anyways. Not to mention all of the repetition and constant performance that really helped us know the music forwards and backwards. Without the tedious hard work, we wouldn't have gotten so good together. And we all really gelled together as a team, and it was so amazing. And we all bonded during the long rehearsals and performances, and we had so much fun. And I will be forever grateful to Sharon and Barbara for all they have taught me over the years. And I won't ever forget the amazing memories we all made together. And even though I miss it, I love college, but I do miss it a lot. So it's been really fun to relive it a little by doing all of this.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. And it is, you know, just as someone who has witnessed the transformation of each and every one of you over the years, it's amazing what, you know, your probably your parents would also say the same thing. It's just so amazing to see how much you have transformed, how much you've grown, and just not just in your musical abilities, you know, from what I've witnessed, but also just who you are as individuals. So it's just such a lovely, lovely, a lovely thing having the Mountaintop Strings in our community. We are so blessed, and so just it's amazing. So at any rate, any final thoughts before I bring Tori Wayner in and have her give us some of the questions from the audience? Any other final thoughts here? No? Okay, I'll circle back and I'll double check before the end. So Tori Wayner, if you would like to go ahead and step in now, and let's see what kind of questions we have.
Yeah, so the first question we have is from Scott Wayner, and I'm going to see if he wants to join visually so he can ask it himself. So let's see. Oh, where'd he go? Great. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Let's unmute you. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, thank you. Girls, thank you for your time in doing this and putting these mornings together. Really appreciate that. A question for both girls: what got you started with strings, and what kept you going when it was really a struggle and the tears were flowing?
Well, for me, it was, I remember it so like vividly. So Sharon does this thing every year where she gets a group of her current musicians together, and they go around to the elementary schools playing to get kids excited and interested in the program. So Sharon came with her current orchestra when I was in 4th grade to North Shore Elementary School, and they played for us. I don't remember exactly what they played, but at this point, I think we got to come up and like pluck a string or something like that. And I remember just plucking a string on the violin, and I went home to my mom. I was like, Mom, I want to play the violin. And I guess the reason, whenever it got tough, we always just had something we were working towards. So it's like, I couldn't quit. We're going to Italy, or we're going to New York. Like, there was no way. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. So there's no way I was going to quit.
For me, what got me started was actually my sister. I was that little child that was like, I want to do everything my sister does. So my sister started violin, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So then I got into the program, and whenever things got tough, I always talked to my sister about it, and she was always like, Rebecca, you know, it's so worth it. Like, you should stay in it. Like, you're going to love it. It's always something like, even when you don't like it, like, you always get to a point where you love it again, and you're like, oh, like, I should never have thought that.
Thank you, ladies. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, so Beth Wheat has one.
And thank you, Scott.
So unfortunately, Beth's microphone isn't working, but I'll go ahead and ask the question. Her question is for Sharon. She said, how old were you when you started studying, and what aspects of your own training and experiences do you strive to bring to the program?
Good question, Beth. I had a similar experience in third grade. Well, not so similar, but there was no string program where I went to school in Norwalk, Connecticut. And I was part of an experimental elementary school program where every student had to play the violin for, it was like about 2 months. And they came to our class and everybody played the violin and we learned Twinkle, Twinkle, Mary Had a Little Lamb, kind of by rote. So, and then as a fourth grader, we got to choose the instrument, and that was the first year that they started this string program, which is successful to this day out in Norwalk, Connecticut. Norwalk public school systems have an amazing string program, band program. So I was a product of that. So that was one thing that kind of led me to, start my own string program from scratch here, because I had that as a little bit of a model. But another funny thing is, at that time when I first moved to Big Bear, it was kind of weird how I got here, but I won't go into that. But the movie Music of the Heart came out, and that is about a woman who started a string program in actually inner city New York. It was in Harlem, and got all these kids to play instruments, and somehow got some funding. And then they ended up losing their funding, which is kind of parallel to kind of what happened to us. And then those kids ended up playing in Carnegie Hall. So that was an inspiration for me. And it's a true story. Roberta Gaspari still lives there, and I believe still teaches this program. And then the other thing that was really influential to me, that I think shaped all this, is my experiences of having the opportunity to travel specifically to Rome. When I was 17, I was presented with this opportunity to play with this orchestra in Rome. It was all professionals except for 7 of us. It was called the Young Artist Program. So there were 7 of us, and we weren't all from the same place. They were from different places around the country, but it was just something that I stumbled into. The recruiter for this program in Rome, I got to spend 6 weeks there playing concerts in Rome, and that experience changed my life, how, like, you have no idea. And so I think it has always been in the back of my mind, how to somehow do this. And I never ever thought that I would have a group of teenagers traveling with me to all these amazing places, specifically Italy, because it's really close to my heart. And then one more thing that's been influential is in college, I had another opportunity to study for 2 summers at the Aspen Music Festival, which is the whole music in the mountains thing, because I don't come from the mountains. So again, that was they're like really, really famous and very, very huge, but it's just always that music and mountains paired together that has just been an inspiration for me. And I think all of those things help shape this thing that's happened here with our Big Bear musicians. And just I think when you have a vision like that, I kind of just didn't stop, and I just didn't want anything to stand in my way. So here you have it.
Well, we are so grateful that that you had this thought, and I love the parallel story with the Music of the Heart, the movie.
Yeah.
And also just, we're just so grateful that you created, you know, that it started with a thought and you created all of this. We're just enjoying your creation.
Thank you, and I am too. And I could not do it without like the musicians and the dedication, people willing to put in that much time for something, you know, so great, and the parents supporting them, and obviously our amazing, you know, community supporters. We're so lucky. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. It looks like we have another question. Tori?
Yeah, so Ramona Del Marco, go for it.
Am I muted or not muted?
We're all
I can
set.
hear you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I've enjoyed listening to everything this morning. It's just, I love listening to these stories and Montecatini and everything. It's just such wonderful memories. My question is, for me, running around and the mamarazzi in the background taking the pictures, is I love everybody's reactions. And I know when you guys are playing, you're watching each other. You're very intuitive with each other. But I'm just curious if there is a particular moment that you remember a people reaction that you can remember the way is somebody reacted, or the way that the audience or somebody hanging from a window or a child. Do you remember something like that that impacted you?
That's a good question. I guess I don't know. Every time we performed, our audiences were so receptive and so just, yeah, they were so incredible that we always like standing ovations at the end. That just, it feels so good as a performer, like all your hard work pays off. But it takes me back again to the first concert we did in Rome in that big cathedral. People from all over the world were there, and they just, because it was like a really popular place, people just kept filing in, and a lot of people stayed, and it was just really cool because we were in another country and people from all over the world just took out their phones and started filming us. So that's probably one of the most like impactful performances. Yeah.
I agree with Tori. A lot of people after every concert we ever had, like a lot of people come up to us and they're like, great job on your concert, or like, I really loved this piece. And they're so nice and they're like, I loved your playing. It was so beautiful. And they always compliment us afterwards. One of the pieces that I feel like a lot of people really reacted to was Chrysanthemums. No matter like where or when we played it, like people always like, they just loved it. And some people even cried and they were like, oh my gosh, that piece was so beautiful. Like, I just love the way you played it. And I think for me, like that piece, like just has a special place in my heart because like so many people like loved it and it's a beautiful piece.
Awesome. Pretty quickly, we're going to have to close soon, but what did you want to make a comment, Sharon?
Oh, sure. I just wanted to continue what Rebecca said about Chrysanthemums. For those of you who don't know, that's a piece written by Puccini, and he's an opera composer. So he didn't write much string music, but this is one thing he did write for a string quartet, or it could also be played by a small string orchestra, which we played in 2017 in Puccini's hometown of Lucca, and we did it on that tour. And I just wanted to say that at that time was really a pinnacle of our musical, the group's musical. Both Tori and Rebecca were on that tour, kind of a pinnacle of the musical existence of us. The music got, because most of the kids who went to Carnegie Hall, we got an invitation to go back to Lucca to play something. So we kind of did a sequel sort of thing. But the level and the sophistication of that music during that time period got really sophisticated. And the Puccini it's deep and dark and beautiful. And for teenagers to play something like that so expressively and with such meaning was just an incredible accomplishment. So congratulations, you guys. I'd like to bring that piece on in the next couple of weeks. I've been thinking about it. So,
well, we're looking forward to that. Yeah, and that's what amazes me too about these kids is that they are middle school and high school, and wow, they're just such, for me, they're consummate professionals, and not just in their music, but in their state of being, who they are as, you know, they're such just amazing representatives of Mountaintop Strings. And with that being said, I think it's time that we have to close. Thank you so much for all the questions. And again, thanks for everyone who was a part of bringing all of this together. We're looking forward to more and more of these Saturdays. And before we close, Sharon, can you share with everyone once again how people can find Mountaintop Strings and you know, what they can do to help bring more of this beautiful music of Mountaintop Strings to the world?
Okay, well, you could go to our website, www.mountaintopstrings.org. Pretty easy to remember. You could email me, Sharon@mountaintopstrings.com. The email is .com. I'm just Sharon@mountaintopstrings.com. And also send me your, on our website, you can contact me, send me an email from there, and just let me know if you'd like to get on the mailing list. We also have a Mountaintop Strings YouTube channel now, thanks to Bob. And so all of these videos, this is episode number 2, will be going to our YouTube channel. So, but if you guys can do us a favor and try to have other people, invite people in to watch these. We hope to do a few more Saturdays, and we'd like to have some more viewers. So if you can spread the word about this, I think it's a great thing, and I hope you guys do too, and it brings back these memories for me. And so thank you for the opportunity, Big Bear Connected, Tori, Kim, Amber, and Beth. So thank you guys.
It's our pleasure. Thanks to everyone, and we will see you all next week. And thank you so much, Victoria, Tori, and Rebecca, for being the special guest today.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.